type day to outwork the opponent, outwork the competition. When they're a little bit dragging during the week, you keep it going. You put your best foot forward. I'm a little disappointed, man, about the topic today. We talking about positive in the playoff football as far as college, playoff football approaching in the NFL. But when you look at the situation, you have to look at what happened in Michigan today with Sherrone Moore. It's very, very disappointing and unfortunate. And I'm happy for technology that you and I, in between the lines, can bring the listeners and the viewership a little bit of our first take of what we think about and what we feel about this early when it's fresh from the press, or fresh from the press, so to speak.
Absolutely. And so for those that maybe haven't been by their phone over the last few hours, because this is breaking news, probably just happened a few hours ago, 3 hours ago, Michigan has fired their head coach, Sherrone Moore, and being reason is inappropriate relationship. So it's been said, and Sherrone Moore, most notably known for crying on the football field, all Ohio State, all my Ohio State.
But time we were making fun of anybody.
Yeah. So Sherrone Moore, who just completed his second regular season as Michigan coach, has been fired for a cause after an outside investigation firm hired by Michigan found that he had been engaged in an inappropriate relationship with an individual on the football staff. So the University of Michigan head coach, Sherrone Moore, has been terminated with cause and is effective immediately, said Michigan Athletic Director Ward Manuel in a statement earlier today. So following a university investigation, credible evidence was found that Coach Moore engaged in an inappropriate relationship with a staff member, and this conduct constitutes a clear violation of university policy, and U of M maintains zero tolerance for such behavior. Now, it was later said Wednesday that Moore was involved in an incident that required police attention, said the police chief, Biff Poggi, who was Moore's associate head coach, filled in as acting head coach for 2 games this season, while Moore served an NCAA-related self-imposed suspension, is now the interim head coach. And the Wolverines, at 9-3 this season, are prepared to face Texas, who is also 9-3 in the Citrus Bowl on December 31st in Orlando. Manuel was meeting with his parents of Michigan players Wednesday evening on a video conference call to break the news to them. It's not authorized to speak on the record just yet, but Michigan has conducted an internal investigation. That did not reveal evidence of inappropriate relationship, but there was enough smoke that the source said to prompt Michigan Board of Regents to hire an outside firm to conduct an external investigation. That investigation began earlier this week, and the evidence is out, and Manuel fired Moore. So according to Moore's contract, yeah, this is quick. So according to Moore's contract, there are several options for firing for cause, including criminal conviction, misconduct, and conduct by the head coach which offends against public decency or morality, as shall be determined by standards prevailing in the community, or which results in or is the reasonability determined of the university could result in material injury to the reputation, interests, or obligations of the University of Michigan. This situation has offered a new challenge to the University of Michigan, who are now actively searching for a new university president, along with I'm sure they'll be searching for a new head coach. So back to us, Joe. Wow. Before this news broke, and I will say this, I'm never one to be excited or want to kick a black man when he down. But once this news first broke, I was like, what? Then I started reading what happened, and I said, what? And it's just like, I was thinking, I said, you know what? Maybe I've been tough on it. Because I made a couple posts about the University of Michigan. I'm not sure if you've seen it, where it's like, get your layup drill ready. Get ready for basketball. Dude said the same one that talked mess in July, be having to pack it up in December. He said, practice your layups. And I was thinking, I said, man, I'm going too hard on Michigan. Now, everybody know I'm Ohio State. But I'm like, man, you know, Michigan ain't did nothing to me. I'm going too hard. And then this news broke. And then I said, I knew it was a reason I didn't like Michigan. And this ain't got nothing to do with Michigan. This got to do with the act of Sherrone Moore got to look himself in the mirror. And he's going to have to deal with it. But all I can say is, wow. There's only a few positions. If you have the highest, the most powerful, as a black coach in the college, you was holding the best coaching job in college football as a black coach. People can say what they want in regards to Prime. Prime is in Colorado. It's not the University of Michigan, by no stretch of imagination. You got Fran Brown. He's in Syracuse. They like to say that's a basketball school. Shout out to all the other coaches. You got Deshaun Jackson doing good. Michael Vick trying to make a difference. You got Eddie George. Ain't none of them at the University of Michigan. Michigan is one of them Power 6s or Power 8s that we named 2 or 3 episodes ago when we said...
Don't forget about Marcus Freeman.
Oh, we can't forget about Marcus Freeman, but Marcus Freeman don't see himself as a black man. He don't like to be called a black coach. He like to be called an Asian coach or everything.
I've never heard that. When did you hear that?
I'll send some clips. Is that
factual?
Yes, that's facts. That's facts. He don't anytime somebody say something as the first black coach, he quit to correct them and say, "Hey, I'm a coach. I'm not a black coach." He quit to correct them. So, but I don't want to forget about him. Obviously, Notre Dame is.
Oh, so he's acting like Tiger Woods acting.
Exactly. And that's exactly why I'm like, I didn't even consider him. But I didn't even consider him. The issue, what's your take on this? And we see I got a few people. Y'all let me know. Y'all let me know, listeners, how you feel about Michigan firing their coach. Obviously, it's a morality issue. Tell me your thoughts as Joe proceeds.
And I think in we asking the people that's listening as well, does it seem a little choppy, and can they hear us clear? Because it seems a little bit delayed, so let them know. We would like to hear from them of how it sounds. But here it goes, Vaughn. I first start to think about the recruits, the kids. Remember, signing day was just December 3rd through the 6th. Guys, whether you like it or not, some of those guys signed because Sherrone Moore was going to be the head coach. Some of those offensive line signed because Sherrone Moore was going to be their offensive line. I guess guide, because that's his baby, Sherrone Moore. He loves coaching the offensive line. And now he's not there. So I'm sure a lot of those guys went to the school, the University of Michigan, and not go to a specific guy. But some people do that. So when you look at the recruits, will they change their mind because that happens? And when you think about Michigan, and they had to fire Coach Sherrone Moore because of his inappropriate behavior that's, have zero tolerance attached to it, it's recruiting, or it's around recruiting. Now you got a whole new head coach, so it's going to set them back like that as well. And then I go to Sherrone Moore, Vaughn, and he got suspended earlier this year because recruiting violations. He was in that mess with John Harbaugh. So that's one strike, and you survived that to be the head coach. And a pretty good season, improved from year 1 to year 2 with a 9-3 record. So that's not a good look. And my heart goes up to his wife and 3 kids. So hopefully he'll just look himself in the mirror. And right now I think everything's allegedly, as far as being detained by the police and what the charges are. But we do know that he's fired from Michigan with cause. And you know what with cause means? That you don't get to recoup any of that money that you were scheduled to make.
So with cause, and brother, sound great on this end. Like you just to reiterate, you said being that they're terminating him with cause. That means it's not like when you underperform and you get a head coach that lose their job immediately, and you got like Brian Kelly. He's due like $50 million, and they got to pay him that money. Where he got this big buyout. When you fired with cause, whatever money you had due is now no longer.
That would be absolutely correct, sir.
So not only did you lose your position and you mess up whatever money that you had contractually, not to mention whatever embarrassment that comes with the family at this point.
Yeah.
That's a double whammy. And with the news continuing to go on and talking about he was arrested for whatever, we're not sure. And again, it really...
detained.
Or detained.
Detained and arrested is a big difference, I think. Yeah. But you know what, Vaughn, I would say this too. It's easy for me to say, and it's correct in terms of everyone makes mistakes. You look in your closet, but you also have to think about it when you have a responsibility of a lot of people under you, and that stage that you mentioned earlier, that responsibility, the head honcho, so to speak, have a lot of power. You're held to a different standard. You can't make some of the mistakes just somebody else can make. It's just that simple. Yes, everybody makes mistakes. Everybody is due their time to be forgiven and change and go to another direction. But it's just the significance of some is higher and more costly than others. It's just the bottom line.
Absolutely. My thing is this. Again, you not coaching, and me being a diehard Ohio State fan, to understand Michigan, we not gonna act like Michigan is not top of the line in regards to prestige, in regards to the university. They one of the top law schools in the nation, and you was given this position, being in the right place in the right time when Harbaugh, like you said, got in trouble. You part of the legendary championship team of Michigan and you was a part of that because when Harbaugh was suspended, he still led them to victory. They still beat Ohio State with Sherrone Moore as the coach for them to go on. Yeah, and they went undefeated that year.
Yeah.
So he has legacy there, but you put it all on the line. You got to hold yourself accountable. You cannot put yourself, and this is a message not for him, but for all our youth. And I'm speaking to our black youth, listen, you cannot risk everything. You can't risk everything for something so petty. That's all I can say in regards to that. Like, you want to be a role model. You want players to follow you. You want players to run through a wall for you. You want the sponsors to trust you. You want the board and you want their backing, but you can't be doing things in the dark because eventually it's gonna come to light. And when it come to light, you're fired without pay. It's that simple. It don't get no, and it is. You can't say, well, what about this person? It's not when you start pointing fingers at everybody else. You can only point the finger at yourself and realize, like, who can you blame? It's nobody to blame in this situation. You gotta take it on the chin.
Well, that's why I'm gonna stick with that. That is why I'm gonna stick with. It's very unfortunate for him. I'm not going to point a finger at him. I'm not going to say, wow, how could you possibly do that? I'm going to look at the situation oh, man, you blew an opportunity. I'm not going to act like, he needs to be, put over there and cast off like he made the worst decision or mistake that's ever going to be made by man. But then again, that's costly, very, very costly. It's costly to a university. It's costly to a family. It's costly to friends and players. It's just costly. And all I would suggest, tell him that what he should do is just be honest. Throw his hand up. You know, he doesn't have to do it publicly to everybody, but I mean, he was a man in a leadership role with a lot of people following.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. Trying to check right now, see if anybody shout out DJ LaSalle. I see he was on. Any of our listeners, comment below when you see this clip. What do you think? Are you shocked by the Michigan firing? Then you got some people that say, Joe, they was just looking for a reason to fire him. He wasn't their guy. He was John Harbaugh guy. You got some people that say, hey, you know, they was really just waiting to get rid of him. And for that being said, I would say they would have fired him a lot earlier when it was actually some coaches to choose from before now when it's later on. But we going to see just how powerful that Michigan role is because, like we said, if Michigan, Ohio State, Alabama, or LSU, possibly Notre Dame, when they come calling, you gone. So some people feel like they might be, some people might feel real good about their coach. We going to see when the Michigan dollars come floating around.
I know, and they're going to be trying to, and they're going to, kind of approach or poke at other different universities to get coaches. You know, they can get the coaches, they can ante up with the dollars to get or go after whoever they like. And I would think that's one of the top 10 coveted jobs, the Michigan Wolverines. So I would like to say this, Vaughn, too, with the people that wanted Sherrone Moore out of there, or they called for his head, or was looking for a reason to fire him anyway. I don't know if that's true. What I will say is that he gave him ammunition to do that. And I will say that if this had been another a white guy or white coach, Caucasian coach, that had to be done. When inappropriate behavior, when it's in the bylaws, it's hard to save you. It's hard to wipe that under the rug when it comes out that you got to investigate and people are talking and it's in-house. It's hard. So even, I don't know that anybody with 5 or 6 championships or a pedigree of all-time great would be able to survive inappropriate behavior in the workplace. So that's what I would say about that.
Absolutely. See Just the Best online. Just what you think?
Shout out to Just the Best.
What you think in regards to Michigan coach getting fired? Should they have kept him and just swept it under the rug? Or
well, they can't.
Yeah, they couldn't. We read earlier what was in the contract.
Yep.
With cause.
This is not one of those things that a recruiting mishap or paying somebody under their table or something that's not in the bylaws of what happens in the entire athletic program. Every coach, every administrator, every everybody that works in that building has to follow or abide by those rules as non-negotiable. 0 tolerance.
She responded. She said, "Do what they do for everybody else." So you gonna have a lot of people. You have a lot of people that say, "Well, that happens everywhere. Like that happens in coaches do that in all other universities. This ain't the first time." They feel like they're picking on Sherrone Moore. What would you say to that, Joe?
Well, I think they have to show me a little bit more facts about that. I mean, picking on Sherrone Moore because, again, from what you read and I listened to, it was very clear that that would bring shame to the university. That would be deemed not appropriate, and it's written down. So when you're reading from something that you signed and how we're going to do things, you have to abide by that. And when I hear 0 tolerance, that's exactly what it is. Don't you think? I haven't heard any of those rumors that you want to get a coach that took over from a national championship team with a lot of allegations and went 7-5, This year, his team went 9-3, improved, and you're going to be finding a way to try to get him out of there? No, I don't think that's the case. I think that what he did shocked. Because you remember, in that release that you read, they found out and they had an investigation within a week. So they did that very, very quickly. It all happened very quickly, so I don't think they knew anything about it. I think they shocked them, and they had to have what we would say a knee-jerk reaction, but it was almost an automatic reaction because of what was in Riley.
Absolutely. She say they didn't want to pay a black man in order to fire him, period. And I would respond back to that is black man was acting like he didn't want to get paid. So, when you make those kind of choices, he didn't want to get paid. So they did what they had to do. We're not gonna keep up with that. But then I even heard somebody in one of my groups, shout out to Chico. Chico said, well, they didn't want to pay him, so they probably paid her to do this. Like sometimes we giving people, we try to take the accountability off of others rather than we making all of these different what's the word? Because we were just talking about collusion and conspiracies, but we making all these theories rather than just saying black man made a bad decision. It didn't matter what man, any man made a bad decision. When the higher you go up, the higher you go up, the more responsibility you gonna have, the more temptations you gonna have. If you don't turn down them temptations, you gonna go down. It don't matter how high you are on the mountaintop, they gonna get you. And it ain't even them getting you. You gonna self-destruct. That's all of this is self-inflicted. They always move the goalpost for the black.
And I'm glad you said that. And I'm glad you said self-inflicted. And this is why I'm glad you said that, because did somebody call the police to come detain him just to be detaining him? That doesn't have anything to do with somebody searching out that didn't want to pay him. You think they tried to set him up by calling the police and have charges against him? No. I mean, who would go out in their way to try to set him up like that? This ain't the movies.
Absolutely.
They don't want to do that. Hey, I got somebody you want to come and lock up. He's the head coach of Michigan. I'm coming to detain him for no reason. No. They saw something. Something came up. And Vaughn, that's another lesson that should be learned. You better be careful who you trust and who you do things around. And be careful when people say, I'm not going to tell anybody, or your secret is safe with me. And thinking when push comes to shove and somebody's back is against the wall and you don't think they'll scream, you don't think they'll holler really, really quickly. So that's what happens. He's hiding this and he's doing this for a long time. And all of a sudden somebody messed around and told the wrong person. And all of a sudden an investigation got done internally, then externally. And here we are, in my opinion. Because that's all he's looking back at right now and saying, how did this happen so quickly and fast? Where did I go wrong? She
say, how did he get arrested for cheating? That's not illegal. We didn't say that. He got detained for something else. It's something else going on. It's more.
And this is a perfect time for me to reiterate what you read a little bit earlier, what I saw, Vaughn. Early this morning, it's still Wednesday, early this morning, the University of Michigan fired Coach Sherrone Moore. Later this afternoon, policemen detained him and took him somewhere to a police station to where they presented his charges. His firing didn't have anything to do with police detainment. That happened early that morning. So we can't say he got detained for doing anything at the job. We don't know that anything at the job caused him to be detained. We don't know that yet. We do know that he got fired from the University of Michigan for inappropriate behavior that they had zero tolerance on.
And I'm gonna just say this as a Buckeye. And I don't never like to kick nobody when they down, but Sherrone Moore, leave it up to Michigan. You'll find a way. A Wolverine will find a way to get fired on their day off. It's hey, man. So the question is now, what's next for Michigan? And does Underwood The
Yeah.
star freshman, does he stay? Because now they got bigger fish to fry. He wasn't expecting to have a coaching change after his first season.
Stay tuned, Mr. Williams. Stay tuned to January 2nd. January 2nd is when the transfer portal opens up. So there's only one window now. So January 2nd, you'll be able to enter your name and see if you're going into the portal. So if you don't get in that window, then he's going to be a Michigan Wolverine. But that's a great question you bring up. I mean, was he a Sherrone Moore guy? But one thing about it, he can't follow Sherrone Moore anywhere because I don't think Sherrone Moore is going to get a head coaching job right away, and I don't think he's going to get an offensive coordinator job right away. So wherever, if Bryce Underwood decides to leave Michigan, the question is where to. You remember he was committed to LSU at one point. He might be thinking about going down there with Lane Kiffin at LSU.
That would be shocking. Do y'all think that the star freshman quarterback for Michigan will be leaving after this breaking news that his head coach has been fired? Will he be going to LSU? Or, where do y'all think? Comment below where you think he might land, or if he stayed. Maybe he just want to stay. Maybe he love wearing that.
Michigan guy.
That's what I was about to say. Maybe he loved being in that cold.
Right.
Maybe he loved wearing them Jordan uniforms. Who knows?
But that's where he's from, though.
He's from where? Michigan?
Yeah, he's from that area, yes. Absolutely.
Oh, okay. So if he's from Michigan, then I can understand him being more at home. I see no in the comments. Thinking he gonna leave or no he's staying?
He's staying, man. Oh, I don't know.
So how long? So tell me, is January 2nd to what?
I don't know. Sherrone Moore might have recruited him.
What's the time frame? January 2nd to what?
It's probably about 3-day window.
3 days to jump in the portal?
Yeah, why would you need more than that?
Jeez. What if you want to jump?
More time
Maybe in April you want to. In the spring you ready to jump in the portal.
No, that's why no. That's what they're doing, Vaughn. You're right, but they're doing that to cut out so many different portals to have the roster be revamped so often. So that's why they shrunk it. That's why they took that first window of transfer portal out of it. Because you remember now, there's some people going to still be playing for a championship that might want to get in the portal.
Right.
But just you can keep in mind that some people, if they're going to get in the portal, they've been thinking about it, and they're going to make that decision coming soon. And by January 2nd, they'll know. They don't need much time after January 2nd. There's no difference between the 4th and the 6th or the 5th. You know.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, we just wanted to provide you all.
That was good stuff.
We just wanted to provide you all with some breaking news in between the lines. Tap in later this week, and you can reach us on TikTok, YouTube, or Instagram. In Between the Lines Show. I'm Savon Williams. It's my brother, College Football Hall of Famer Joe Hamilton. And this is In Between the Lines. We out.